Hi everybody, Keith here. Hope everybody's having a good day. Sunday evening, and everybody knows it's football season. And we have this issue with Colin Kaepernick and many other players that are now kneeling on the field. And so I wanted to talk to everybody about that tonight. I want to start out with 3 words: derive, arrive, and survive. And basically what it gets down to is, in order to have any kind of intent in anything, in any kind of message that you want to convey, in any kind of idea that you want to construct, you have to have a point of where it derived, what brought you about to wanting to say a particular thing or do a particular thing. And that intent coming from where it derives, when it comes to fruition, is your measure of right. Basically, everybody has a free will, and that derives from our Creator. Upon acceptance of His rewards, which is dominion over the earth, you now have a obligation, a responsibility. And once you fulfill that responsibility, you fulfilled that contract. In today's world, we have contracts that require obligations before you get the rewards. Everything's backwards. And basically what it is, when it comes down to Colin Kaepernick, he has a belief, he has a contract within himself of things that he believes that have a point of origin, where they derive. And when he first started out his protest, I want everybody to understand this. He did not start his protest by kneeling. Where did his protest derive? How did it come to arrive to where we are today? Will his protest survive? So we start with derive. Where did Colin Kaepernick's protest derive? And we can read the stories, and we can pretty much put a picture together that he has this girlfriend who happens to be a Muslim and is himself a mixed race, and being part of a certain class of people, has a certain opinion about the way they've been treated through certain organizations. This opinion, while he has a right to protest it, and he has a freedom of speech, when he started out, he was doing it correctly. He was abstaining. In other words, what he was doing, when he first started his protest, he did not kneel. He just sat out. You can see many times where he sat on the bench. And it wasn't made an issue until, in my opinion, what I heard is that he discussed it with a veteran. And a veteran explained to him that kneeling during the anthem was a form of respect, of showing respect for the fallen soldiers. That's when he started kneeling. When he started kneeling is when everybody else had a protest against that. So we are here we are at where we're at today, and we've got the Dallas Cowboys. The whole line is kneeling in front of the entire world. We've got the Pittsburgh Steelers, where everybody stays in the locker room and abstains, with the exception of one who went out and went ahead for the national anthem. He was a service member. He was a veteran. He felt obligated more so to his contract with the United States than with his contract with the NFL. At the same time, the contract from the United States military with the NFL in 2009 has promulgated these rules in the NFL that all players should stand for the national anthem, and any players that do not may be subject to discipline. So, where we have to go now is look at where Colin Kaepernick is. Where is he at now? He has arrived at a point where he's in the middle of a game that he has contracted to do. Now, by abstaining, they were not penalizing him. It is only by his involved action that they penalized him. That's where all this comes from. And if anybody wants to sit here and put Kaepernick down, that's fine. You have a right to. You have a freedom of speech. You have a freedom of your opinion. But my opinion is this. He started out on bad grounds by not personally being involved, but having a reasonable accord in which to show some kind of support. That support, when he initially started out, was just simply abstaining from participation. Now, that contract that he's under, saying that he should stand, understand the word should. Means that he should. They feel that he should. Doesn't say he has to. So therefore, according to their rule books, he was doing quite fine. And again, as he's kneeling, still doesn't say anything about not standing or should stand. It's just that now the action that he took, they find offensive because it's bringing more attention. Understand that. The NFL is probably pretty goddamn sick right about now after the millions, if not billions of dollars already lost in revenue by signing a contract with the United States military. This should say something for you folks. All you folks sending your children out off to these wars, signing up with the U.S. military. One way or another, all they're doing is playing you. If they're not playing you on a field of war, they're playing you on a field of football. If they're not playing you on a field of football, they're playing you on a field of basketball. A court of basketball. If you're not playing you on a court of basketball, they're playing you on a court of tennis. If they're not playing you on a court of tennis, they're playing you on a court of chessboard. If they're not playing you on a court of chessboard, they're playing you on a court of a fucking district corporation. Somewhere along the line, they are playing you because you don't know where you derive. You don't know where you're at now, where you've arrived, and you're not going to survive because you're just a pawn in their game. Start filling your heads with knowledge, people, and understand this stuff. Colin Kaepernick had a perfectly good reason for sitting out. The NFL has a perfectly good reason for commencing the actions that they've taken against him. One action begets another. Just don't get involved and do what you're supposed to from where you've derived so that you know where you're at, so that what you know will survive. Quit letting these people omit everything when they tell you, oh, Colin Kaepernick's putting up a protest because he's kneeling. No, Colin Kaepernick put up a protest when he started sitting out. They didn't want to say it then. Nobody wanted to notice it then. But because he felt urged in some way or some shape or form to put a message out in that forum, which he had no right to do. He was under contract with the NFL. And he knew the consequences. Now he's suffering his consequences. However, it has brought it out to a much greater scale. So again, kudos to whoever wants to step up. Kudos to anybody who wants to step up against any corruption anywhere so that we can all discuss it and get all the truth out. Because if you want to know the story, you have to know the whole story. And if you're just looking at this thing as a kneeling thing and a flag situation, understand it's a lot deeper than that. We're talking about people trying to play others in their game of advertising through the sports profession, using a military corporation as a background. And it's that same military corporation as a background that you're bearing your child to in these hospital wards. Quit doing it. It's not fun. Got plenty of experience. It's not fun. Very educational if you take advantage of it. But we've got to learn where our thoughts and ideas derive. We've got to learn it and quit believing. We've got to understand the background to each and every word that we speak. It's called etymology in regards to words. It's called genealogy in regards to mankind. Scientology, according to some in religion. Oligarchy. Oh, fuck that. I'm tired of it. Again, 4 verses from the Bible, folks. Hosea 4, verse 6. My people shall perish for the lack of knowledge. So give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar, because the love of money is the root of all evil. And you can't ever serve 2 masters. Period. So find out where you derive from. Whether you derive from a piece of paper or whether you derive from life. Piece of paper will fade away. The words on it will fade away. Your life will continue in other forms of life. That's your life energy. That's where it derives. That's how you arrive. And that's how you survive. Your own energy. And if you're going to be a couch potato, go ahead. Otherwise, I suggest everybody learn where they're coming from. And when it comes to being a citizen, a state citizen, a United States citizen, a state national, American national, find out what they've got you tagged as first. Where you have arrived in their world and where you have arrived in your world. If you arrive at a driver's license in their world and your world both, then you probably have a misunderstanding of where you derive from. And I urge you to find out so you can turn around and pass it on to our younger generation. So they quit believing that, Keith, the police are your authority. Ain't gonna happen anymore. Anyway, folks, that's all I got for tonight. Hope it helps you think a little bit harder about how things are. Meantime, God bless. Have a great one.